find a gas station that's on the way home. It was leaving me back into Princeton, Texas. So we're gonna go back this way and then head back and throw away some of this stuff. Some of this stuff that it's like basically like trash that's in a cardboard box. Deer or werewolves, one of the two. Hopefully neither. They're both dangerous. Curvy roads. Hmm. 11 miles on the next Exxon, but it's not too bad. About something important to the filmmaker and the listener and the one watching and the watcher and the listener. Filmmaking is not exactly like acting. There's a lot of similarities, but it's not exactly. It's more like set building. And then you direct because you want the audience to look at certain parts of the set and then certain maybe actors that come into the scene. And there's gestures, which are theatrical convention. Acting is the opposite of that because we want to only reveal human behavior. Because we've grown up since A.D.W.C, and it's not like, oh goodness gracious, it's not like that anymore. So we have to be real in the moment, and then the filmmaker it's not necessarily out of the moment, but he's finding what the audience should see, like the director, the interpreter. Because they're from Arkansas. All the way from Arkansas. So the idea is that you're seeing, these brake lights, and then I already said they're all the way from Arkansas, and then there's brake lights. And so that's the actor, but then the filmmaker is thinking logically and saying, okay, there's rain, so we want to see raindrops. We want to hear the rain. We want to see this part of the rain. And then, so a lot of filmmakers know secrets, like Francis Ford Coppola knows secrets about what people want to see, whips of fog and Apocalypse Now kind of stuff. And then Martin Scorsese, brings in the violence, and David Lynch brings in the mystery. And so they have style. Fellini brings in the dream, the surreal. So does David Lynch. And so they will lean to that because they want to, and they've gone to that aspect of their filmmaking. But when you're a one-man show, you're limited you know, to a certain extent, because you can only bring up so much. But that's what I wanted to say, that there's a difference between the filmmaker and the actor. So you're playing 2 roles, and then you're even playing 3 roles because you're the director, and then sometimes you write things. So you're playing 4 roles because you're the writer, the director, you're the actor, and then maybe 5 roles because you're the producer. You know, it's a one-man show. And that's, you know, Bob Dylan was that in a while. You know, it took him a while before he would sit down with another band and construct music. He was always a one-man show. Played his own music. And then he brought in other bands and stuff. So eventually, hopefully, maybe one day I could bring in other filmmakers and other musicians and other artists, and we can go further, depending on if someone trusts me and wants to throw some funding towards me, and then jump on board and we can all collaborate. And that's ultimately my dream. But for right now, I got to play all these different parts, and maybe all filmmakers had to play all different parts. I don't know. I'd have to sit down and ask. I know what was it like back in the 1960s or 50s to make a commercial? How many people were on set? Was it like 4 people? You know, like, I don't know. Alfred Hitchcock had to do it. He had to make commercials. Spielberg had to make commercials. So maybe this is what filmmakers have to do now. I don't know. But I learned the gestures that I'm coming up with, not as an actor, but what I'm coming up with as a filmmaker is what I'm finding. It's not necessarily always what I'm studying, but I do watch cinema. So I do try to bring that. And I watch other vloggers mostly, because I got to watch other vloggers to see, well, how are these guys entertaining the public, getting paid? What are they doing? Because they only have a phone, or they only have a Canon PowerShot G7, whatever it is, you know, PowerShot G7 Mark II. You know, what are they doing to get away with entertaining you with just the little technology that they have? And they're in their van, or they're in a rental car, or they're with their mom in Hawaii. You know what I mean? What ideas are they doing? Because they entertain people. They get like 59,000 views. So, you know, I made it. You know, I'm way up here. I'll show you. I'm way up here. See, way up here. Way up this way. So I made it. Now I just got to wait for the money to roll in. But, you know, they may want me to stay with iPhone maybe 11, move up to iPhone 15 maybe. I don't know. Maybe I can show mime. I talk like mime sometime. Mime talk like that. I know this great mime. His name's Craig Goldston. He's like the most talented performer in the world, but Marlon Brando would be like, this guy's better than me. But he's a mime, and he talks that way sometimes in class. Mime don't think. Mime think with back ahead. Mime don't have real thought. Mime just move. You know. Does mime want to make people laugh now? You know, that's how you taught. Well, no, they were very specific. These guys were filmmakers, but they did it with their body only, and they used cameras and videos to capture stuff. But what I'm trying to say is that there's all these different art stuff going on, and filmmaking is capturing different stuff. It captures it in a very distinct way. Let's see what this does. Camp and State Park. I don't know what that is. I'll find a gas station eventually. I got on some highway. This is 75. But I think my show is kind of about figuring things out, you know, and different art. The timer went off, so I'm going to cut now. That's an idea, though. I could put a timer on to discipline myself. It said Exxon 7-Eleven, but I found a QT. 337 on gas. My goodness. All right, now we get to rejuvenate. Yeah, that's spinning around because it wants me to stop. And walk the trash over to Jack in a Box and drop it off there. Should be okay. I used to do it all the time in Maine. Oh, there's something over there. Escape from, when I was in Maine, I was writing Escape from Maine. I used to do this, all the dumpsters everywhere, because all the camps and places, it's hard to dump all the trash because they don't really have it. Well, Guilford does. Guilford has their own trash pickup, but you have to be wary where you dump the trash off, and they don't like this because of bears. Of course, the inner city is not a big deal. It attracts bears. Here in the city, it's not that big of a deal, but in the state of Maine, they put locks on all that because people don't throw their trash out properly, and the bears come, and it's a big deal, and they're going to bring the game warden in. But that was just a bunch of dust and some ice cream and milk. Now I'm going to go in and get a refill and clear my mind. Cleaning just, you know, it's like, dust landing on my face. Getting hot dog, give ETA soon, probably like within an hour. Okay, I'm putting that in, and then I'm gonna get a hot dog. Okay, I'm in QT, I'm in the restaurant right now. Okay, I'm washing my face. Editing tonight, so go to the light, which goes to the light. Okay, you can get $2 for one, or two of them for $2.50. I'm gonna go for two. I'm gonna go with my platform. Alright, I've learned from the Woo Gang to avoid the ketchup on the hot dog. I agree. It's kind of it's a thing of respect to Chicago for the Chicago dog. But I might try to make that a Chicago dog. This is what I'm making. On the chicken one, it's straight up gourmet ranch chicken. This one. Chicago dog has the pickles, and they have no pickles out right now. Those. I'm gonna do like a version. A little bit of kraut, not a whole lot. I'm just making my own like Texas Chicago dog. I don't know, just kind of making it up. That's salsa, a little salsa on that. Mustard's really the best, so we're gonna do with fancy mustard. It's a fancy Chicago dog. Little mustard packets are not as full as they used to be. I don't really get their mayo packets anymore. Just for chutes and ladders. Actually, you know what? This stuff is great. Onion crunch. I'm calling this a crazy Texas dog. It's a Brat with banana peppers, onion crunch, sauerkraut, Grey Poupon, and then a little bit of Heinz sweet relish. It's called a crazy Texas dog. It's a Cole Spivey favorite. See what it's got. Gotta get. So I told that QT worker I was going to be a secret shopper for QT, which I didn't have time to take the job, but they usually go in with $4 in cash, and then you have to count it back to them. That's how you pass a secret shopper for QT. He goes, we know about the secret shoppers. He didn't know what they did though. I said, usually it's going to be low cash, and then they'll want it to be counted back to them, which is right. We're going to do our hot dog vlog for QT, but I gotta get the logo in it. So it's gonna be... Alright, I'm getting in the right, there we go, kind of see it, about there, okay, yeah, we got some QTs over that way, okay, you can see it over there. Alright, we're not going to do the chicken dog. This is the chicken dog. You know what, we're going to do the chicken dog. I've done a lot of these crazy... The crazy dog. Which one should I do? The chicken dog or the crazy dog? This will spill all over me. I gotta focus on this one. We're gonna do the chicken dog. So they got these mozzarella. What is it called? Buffalo chicken. It's a buffalo chicken hot dog. Well, it's not a hot dog. It's a chicken stick. It's really not even a chicken stick. It's a buffalo chicken roller. It's a roller. And I got some Rooster Booster, which, you know, even if I got it using their little QT thing, I'll get that good eventually, but I usually just do a refill. They don't mind. It's $1.18 for a refill, and these two both right here are $3.50. So you get $3.50 plus the QT refill, which is right here. You're looking at $4.97 after tax. I think he did the math right. And then also I have a QT napkin. We won't be reading the werewolf movie tonight. I don't have time for that. And I got another gig for tomorrow. Anyway, here we go. We got it at the angle. Now I'm looking at you. There we go. I have to remember, we're right there. It's like that's head on, even though the monitor's right here. Still learning even today after 4 years of this. You're right there. All right, here we go. Ooh. It's what you call a buffalo chicken roller. For late night after cleaning, pretty good. I put a little bit of special ranch on it. I don't know, it's some kind of ranch. You saw what it was. Type of ranch. All right. Pretty good. These little short food blogs. The food blogs. Getting good at it. If I angle it down with the other hot dog, spill all over the place. You have to imagine me eating that one. For $3.50, it's not too bad. And I did a Whataburger one too. 2 food blogs in one day. So, shop at QT. If you're a secret shopper, be nice to them. All they want you to do is, all the secret shopper wants is for the money to be counted out loud and to be accurate. That's what they look for. Oh, you have a good night. Gonna show me how to open. Texas Crazy Dog by Cole Spivey. All right, I just finished my Crazy Dog. Now, just want to kind of talk about dogs. The Brat dogs are the best. Buffalo chickens are okay. Their regular dogs are a little like Vienna sausage. I'm not gonna say that they're the best, but they're okay. They're good if you're hungry. But the Brats are actually really good, the Brat dogs. How I order things is the best hot dog that you can get on the market, other than like a ball game or something, is gonna be at Sam's. I think they use Nathan, and Walmart does use Nathan. Those are always usually the best, the Nathan dogs. Nathan dogs are usually the best. Sorry, I'm trying to look you in the eye. There we go. The 7-Eleven, they manufacture their own dogs. They're actually really good. 7-Eleven dogs are right there, almost tied to the best. So your 7-Eleven dogs and your Walmart dogs, like Walmart hot dogs, or the Sam's hot dogs are actually about as good as the 7-Eleven dogs. That's all I wanted to say about gas station dogs. Racetracks are okay. They're pretty good. I think the racetrack on the average dog is better than QT. And also, Circle K dogs can be good depending on who's running the Circle K. Circle Ks are sometimes quiet, and sometimes they don't run those dogs the best. But overall, it's going to be 7-Eleven and Sam's as the best Nathan hot dogs. Or, you know, those are great. I'm not talking about restaurants. I'm only talking about gas station hot dogs. Real quick, I don't talk about him a whole lot. He died in 2016, one of our greatest film directors, Michael Camino, who was born in 1939. I want to say July 2nd. I could be wrong about that. He died in 2016. But he did advertisements and he did documentaries. How he got involved in that, I don't know. But he was doing these little documentaries and advertisements. Clint Eastwood discovered him in 1974. I was 1 year old. I was barely starting to walk, and Michael Camino was discovered. And in 1974, or I believe maybe 1976. Let me stop for a minute and I'll come back. Hang on. So Michael Camino was doing advertisements and documentaries. And in 1974, there was this movie star known as Clint Eastwood, who was getting ready to be one of our great directors later in life.
Police reported.
Yeah, I know. It's wrong. It's the wrong voice on that, though. That's the thing. It's the wrong voice. It's supposed to be on the movie voice. I'm gonna have to switch that over. Hang on, I'll get back to it. See, it's on the wrong voice right there. We're gonna switch it over to the right voice. Sorry, I had to put it on the entertainment guy. He's like, there's a police ahead. I hope he doesn't have all the force field energy or something weird. This is a work convo. We'll talk about Michael Camino in a minute. Hang on. We're just kind of introducing him. He's already passed away, but I wanted to kind of talk about him in just a minute. Okay. All right, cool. All right, so 1939, film director, great guy, was born, I believe, July 2nd. If I'm wrong about that, sorry, I'll go back and correct it. Michael Camino. And Scorsese's talked about him recently in an interview that I saw on YouTube. I don't know how recent it was. But he won Best Picture for The Deer Hunter. At first, he was doing documentaries and advertisement, and a movie star by the name of Clint Eastwood discovered him and gave him a shot at a movie in 1974, I believe. It was called Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. I think I got that right. Well, I didn't see Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. I don't know if that's the right title, but I'd like to see it. But I did see The Deer Hunter, which is a mind-blowing film that changes your life, about these steel mill workers that are in Pennsylvania. They're steel mill workers. Michael, Nicky, and Steven. Robert De Niro plays Michael, and Christopher Walken plays Nicky. And John Savage, who's recently switched over to doing a lot of faith-based movies like you could see on Pureflix and stuff. He played a great performance with those two guys as Steven. And they're all shipped off to Vietnam during 1960s from Pennsylvania. It's a brilliant movie. It's absolutely brilliant. And there's a great wedding sequence where they're all running naked down the street. It's De Niro at his finest, just almost, about as good as Johnny in Mean Streets. He's very active, and he's more mature than he was when he played Johnny in Mean Streets. But he has that kind of playful characteristics until they go to war. That may be why De Niro got the role, because there's a very arc in the characters. It's really could be De Niro's best performance. It could be, but it won Best Picture. And it's a hard film to watch, people. I don't even know if I would recommend it. It's so powerful because it'll invade you and it'll horrify you and it'll change you, but it'll make you remember that there was a horrible war, and there were POWs that were treated very, very badly in Vietnam, and we lost that war. It could be one of our most important war films, which I fail to mention all the time. On my war films, I'm always talking about Saving Private Ryan. I always talk about Stanley Kubrick's, Full Metal Jacket. I'm always talking about Platoon, which one of my Platoon things I flipped out, went crazy on, and it got blocked, content blocked on it. I've talked a lot about Platoon. I probably made Oliver Stone mad on this, but I was trying to compare Platoon to modern day policing, but it's not. I went kind of nutty on it. It got blocked, and I was like, okay, fine, good. I'm glad. I've done a lot of stuff that I know. I'm talking about Michael Camino here, okay? Come on. I'm doing a movie review and I'm on the highway. I got a message on something. Hang on. I don't want that one. It's only $30. Come on. All right. Regardless, not trying to always be funny. I'm trying to be serious here. The guy tried to kill me just right there. One trying to kill me. The guy makes about $90,000 to $100,000 a year. He's in an 18-wheeler doing the jackknife thing. Another good movie with Robert De Niro. Go see Jackknife. Love Robert De Niro. He's my top 3 best actors. Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, and Gary Oldman. Everybody knows that. I also like Christopher Walken. I love Jack Nicholson, but those are my 3 favorites. It's going to be Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, Gary Oldman. I love Dustin Hoffman and everything, but I got to pick top 3. They made my top 3. I don't know why. I could put Robin Williams in there, but I didn't. Okay, I just chose that. But Michael Camino, great director. Scorsese recently talked about him in some kind of interview, and he died in 2016. So he's passed away at the age of 77, which I always thought would be a great time to die. It's a lucky number kind of thing. Deer Hunter is very hard to talk about. It's a hard movie to review. There's probably been thesis written about it. There's been books written about it. There's been many, probably documentaries. I haven't seen a lot of documentaries about it, but they're probably out there. It's a powerhouse performance by Robert De Niro, powerhouse Christopher Walken. Their relationship together, especially in the moment of difficulty, Lee Strasberg would talk about in acting, is so there. You know, if the Actors Studio wanted to use an example of the moment of difficulty, that's what they call it, when you have to reach an emotion like that. That is a perfect example of all of cinema, for sure. It's the moment where they've been kidnapped, or they're POWs in Vietnam. They're special ops guys that they get kidnapped by the VC. We're talking about the VC. We're not talking about the Northern Vietnam Army, the NVA. We're talking about the VC, and they put them in these cages under, in this river, and it's like a big cage, and they're underneath these VCs that are gambling with people's lives by doing Russian roulette, where they spin this Russian roulette and they put the gun to their head and they make them pull the trigger, and if they live, they live. If they die, they die, and they're gambling on their lives. And John Savage can't. His character Stephen, he cannot deal with it. He breaks down, and Michael comforts him and comes up with a plan to put 3 bullets in the gun to get them to up. Now, I'm missing an Office Space location for this, guys, but it's at night. You wouldn't be able to see it, so don't worry about it. It's the opening shot I always do. But anyway, regardless, he gets them to get 3 bullets in it, and he gets them to do it eventually. And Walken goes up against him, who later gets addicted to it and stays in Vietnam until Michael has to fly back and try to pull him out. It's a very good movie, and the music is great. Michael Camino's great directing. It won Best Picture. I didn't know it won Best Picture. I read about it the other day, and then I came across it tonight, and I was like, that won Best Picture back in I think it was 76. I hope I'm not wrong with that date. It could have been 78. I think it's 78, maybe. It might have been 78. I'm going to go with 78, I'm guessing, just gambling. But anyway, regardless of the year, it won Best Picture that year. I'm guessing 78. Something's want to say 76, but anyway, 78. But regardless, they worked on it quite a bit. John Savage later, what they end up doing is De Niro gets them to put 3. Well, not De Niro, but it was De Niro, but it was him playing Michael. Michael gets them to put 3 bullets in the gun. Totally believable acting. It's not overdone. It's very real. There's no lie about it. That's why it's hard to watch, because it looks documentary. It looks very real. There's not a single lie in any of the performance at all. And to watch someone put a gun to their head, and it's amazing. But he gets them to do it, and he has like a 50-50, because it's a 6 revolver thing. He pulls it, it misses. He shoots the VC. He grabs an AK-47. He shoots another VC. And De Niro has this moment before he does that where he's just so mad, He's so mad. He's, I'm going to kill you. It's this kind of thing. Because they were slapping him, going, did him out, slapping him. And Dee Dee Mao, no, it's not Dee Dee Mao, that's Platoon, I'm sorry. I don't remember what they say, but it means Mao. I think they're saying Mao, means now. Mao, Mao. And they're telling them to pull the trigger, and they're hitting them, slapping them. Well, Mao. And it's just amazing. I remember sometimes during performance, I'd go backstage and I'd slap myself sometimes. And I don't recommend that, but just to get the tears going, you know. But they really slap him in the scene, and De Niro's like, you know, he's very flustered. He wants to kill the guy. I believe that. He shoots the one guy. He guys grabs the AK. They escape. They get away. I think there's a little person that's in it too, and they get away. It's John Savage, his character Stephen, falls from a chopper and becomes paralyzed from the waist down. De Niro has to go back. See the movie. You know, see the movie. If you don't want to have any care for acting in this world, see Deer Hunter. It's going to change your life. It's an amazing movie. I do own it. I do own it. Jarhead even refers to it. If you've ever seen the movie Jarhead, also the book. It's written by a Marine. I can only say his name in my mind. Hang on, I was this. Yeah, that's the West End. That's the Office Space thing at night. Crawford. No, not Crawford. Swafford. Yeah, Swafford. His name was Swafford. He was the Marine that wrote Jarhead in his mother's basement. Lucky guy, man. He survived Desert Storm and all that stuff. He was a scout sniper, or he was a... no, he was a sniper. And his scout worked with him, too. And he made it back home and went through hell over there. And Jarhead's amazing. Jake Gyllenhaal, who I've been on set with, he... got to play that character, Swafford. But they mentioned Deer Hunter in it. And listen, Jarhead, another nightmare movie. Not as bad as Deer Hunter, but there's a horrible moment that's horrifying that happens when they're trying to watch Deer Hunter. Don't want to talk about it. So I wrote a script called Love and War. It's not anything like Deer Hunter, and it's not anything. I sent it to my friend Eric. He was like, "What are you sending me a script for?" You know, digital. I was married to Angel at the time when I wrote it. I didn't have to go overseas, but it's about POW, and it's more surreal than anything. I don't know if anyone would take it as a movie. Eric Soderbergh has a copy of it, or an early version of it. I don't know if I would do it. It's very surreal. It's based on some accounts. I've talked to some Army guys that had gone over there and almost got killed. One guy almost got killed by a surface-to-air missile when he was in a Humvee and turned his life over to Jesus and stuff like that. But there might be something there that they could play with. It's very hard to describe. It's loosely based, a parallel with Pilgrim's Progress. And what happens is a soldier, he gets put into a POW situation where they're going to like cut his head off and stuff. But at the last minute, a SEAL team comes in and pulls him out and flies him out. It's more about when he gets back home. And when he gets back home, he decides to go on this voyage with his wife, which is it's basically a voyage of the Appalachian Trail. And it's very Pilgrim's Progress. It's very right on the line of Pilgrim's Progress. And he keeps going back to the war, and then staying back on the trail, and then back to the war in his mind, and then going back to the trail, this Appalachian Trail, trying to get away from the war. He had survived being a POW. It's a pretty interesting little script. I have not dug it up in a long time, and I wrote it pretty quickly. And I sent it out to Eric just so Eric would have a copy of it. Eric's a commercial actor in Hollywood that's worked with Drake Dormus. And Eric was like, "Why are you sending me a script? Don't send me a script." I guess sending someone a script is a big deal. But I just thought I'd throw it out there. But it probably needs a lot of patching or reworking and things like that. I wrote it during my second marriage when I was right before I had my third baby, right before I had my second daughter. So I have three children. It's cool. It's a cool film. The opening's kind of cool. The guys are tortured, and they do this weird thing with this. It's like, I describe it as a carousel, but it's actually it's a merry-go-round that's out in like this desert. And they put these snakes in a basket. And it's on this merry-go-round. It's very surreal. And they're forced to open the baskets and look into to where the snakes are to get them to conquer their fear. And they cut a guy's head off. I think there's a sequence where that happens, and it deals with this fear of being bit by this viper that's inside these baskets, and they spin it around just like a roulette thing, and you don't know whether the snake is inside of it or not, and they make them, and they can't look up or something like that. They have to look into the basket, and they can't look away from the snake. Or it's almost kind of taken from Flash Gordon a little bit. This is all fantasy. But what's weird about all of this, and I'm telling you, there's a God. Because somewhere down the line, after I had written this script, somewhere down the line, I had found out about A.D.W.C. And it was like I wrote this script before I didn't know anything about Adam at the time. This was like 2014 or 15. And I had already written the script about this merry-go-round. If you don't know, A.D.W.C, I think it was his father or somebody uploaded this video of Adam and his sister playing on a merry-go-round. And they're spinning around and holding on to this merry-go-round. And it got like 100,000 views. And it got him into YouTube. I shot at YouTube because it got a lot of attention for whatever reason. And it was centered around a merry-go-round. And in my script, Love and War, it's centered around a merry-go-round. I described it as a carousel, but it's described as a merry-go-round. I was trying to find out a word to describe a merry-go-round. It was actually, I use the word carousel because sometimes I get confused, but I was talking about a merry-go-round. It's those flat things that spin around. So I think that maybe these vlogs are a reaction to maybe 9/11, or maybe these vlogs are a reaction to fear. They're tied to maybe fear in a way. Maybe that's what God is trying to tell me in the writing. But I wanted to share that with you because it's very strange, because I went back and I realized, and he showed this video, and it was him and his sister when they were very little, and they're spinning this merry-go-round around. And I had written this one script. I don't know if there's a connection. But later on, I found out that Adam's a great teacher online, and that A.D.W.C he can teach you how, or if you watch his early work, you can learn how to vlog and maybe be a little entertaining. But I think I know he's in Hawaii right now. Cool that he's in Hawaii. I'll have to watch some of that. I know it's like a 40 or 50 minute vlog of him and his mom in Hawaii. It's hilarious though. He's funnier than Jerry Lewis. Him swimming around in a pool with his mother. His mom's funny just to be there. His dad's great too. His dad's a minister. But anyway, the script is called Love and War. It is centered around a merry-go-round, but it's also centered around POWs that escape the war. They get rescued by a SEAL team. They make it back over to America, and they, one of the guys decides to go on an Appalachian Trail as a way of, you could say, repentance for what went on, or a way of recovering. Not repentance maybe, but maybe a way of recovering from the war and from the hell and the fear of post-traumatic stress disorder, And I went through 9/11 a little bit, so I have a touch of it, but I don't have anything compared to what the soldiers had, what they went through, what the American sniper guy, Chris Kyle, what he went through and what other soldiers have gone through. It's amazing. Anyway, so it's a version of Deer Hunter, probably. It's like maybe a slight version of Deer Hunter, maybe. But I don't know. I have to dig that script up someday. I'm going to wait until I'm already in the game before I really even touch that script. All right, we're going to head back.